Okay, so a warm welcome this morning to Janine Rose Keall, who does spirit art. I'm really intrigued about this, Janine. Fascinating. I have seen people again at the Roots of Life events doing the drawings, and I'm really interested to see how you got into it. Just before we do go into that, can you just introduce yourself and say a little bit about where you're based and a little bit about your business, please?
Yeah, okay.
Thank
so it's
you.
lovely to be here. Thank you for letting me join to your interview. Yeah, I'm based in Chorley, in Lancashire.
Yeah.
Well, between Chorley and Preston, that Clayton Woods area. I work from home. I live with parents at the moment, so I'm just sort of doing it all from my bedroom.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, just my work is, as like you've said, is spirit art, and that is like creating portraits of guides, ascended masters, angels, animal guides, past lives, whatever people are really interested in. I've got like an Etsy shop.
Right, excellent.
All the listings that I offer.
Yeah.
People can just go to the Etsy shop, and yeah, I do portraits, and I also include a reading with that as well. So it's like a message from the being that they've chosen for me to bring through, and that it's usually from the questions that they've asked from me. So
yeah, yeah.
Then just see what comes through.
So just before just get to know a little bit about you, what are your interests and passions? What do you like doing?
Well, mainly I love anything creative.
Yes.
Creativity is like my greatest passion, and that doesn't necessarily just mean spirit art. I love anything to do with like art journaling. I love writing poetry and stories. Anything where I can be expressing myself creatively.
Yes.
Or even like singing and dancing as well. That sort of thing. And I love empowering people.
Yeah.
And I think with this work that I do, it does empower people, because they are obviously connecting with their guides, and they're developing that relationship. And having that picture, the picture has the energy of that guide, so that when they gaze at it, they're actually connecting.
Sure.
And through like meditation and that sort of thing, they can start to develop a relationship and develop that strong bond with the chosen guide, and start to receive guidance.
So how does it work then? Say, for example, I wanted this doing. How do I send a picture to you, or do we do it online like we're doing now? Could you explain a little bit about that, please?
We can do it either via distance, which means you just send me a photograph by, like as mentioned, Etsy shop. You've got the capability of actually sharing your details on Etsy. They've got like a messenger thing, and you can put that down.
Sure.
You can send your photograph that way, and I will receive that, and then that really helps me to connect with your chosen guide.
Yeah.
And we can also do it on like this via Zoom, where we're speaking just as we are now, and I can do the picture, start to channel this way, and then I can ask the questions whilst I'm actually drawing. This is
Fantastic.
what I've done in like events myself.
Oh, brilliant!
So,
and how long would something like that take?
Usually I say in about an hour if we're doing it like this face to face.
Yeah.
But then I might continue with a picture afterwards to make it as good quality as I can.
Yeah. Oh, it's
because it can take quite
fascinating.
a while. It can take up to about a couple of hours to do the drawing, because I want to try and make it as sort of realistic as possible, and so that really it can.
And quite often, do you get the name of the guide as well, or
Yes.
where,
Yeah.
or where they're from, or what,
Yeah,
what?
I usually record like a bit of the history of that guide before going into the message about for the actual customer.
Yeah,
So it
sounds.
just gives you like when they were in that incarnation,
Yeah.
what their role was, and their personality and their qualities type of thing. That's what I try and put down, because normal what usually happens is they relate really well to the customer.
Yeah, yeah.
So the qualities of that guide can be really in sync with the customer.
I'm
That's.
I'm very intrigued to find out how you got into it, if you don't mind me asking. How you got into this type of work.
Well, I've always loved art since childhood.
Yeah,
I did go to art college, but at that particular time, I didn't really know anything about spirit art, psychic art, or anything like that.
yeah.
It wasn't until about 2010, I'd say, that I was working in childcare at the time, and then things started to change, and I asked this question one day because I was sort of struggling with the position I was in. I was like in a supervisory role, and I was struggling with it. And I started to ask this question. I said, why is it people have faith in me and I don't have faith in myself? And this answer just came out of the blue and said, because you believe your thoughts.
Ah,
And it was like a pile of light had come back on in a boiler. It just like switched me back on somehow. So I just felt that I literally felt this click inside.
wow.
And it just seemed to change things. And the job didn't get any easier, actually. It got worse. I was feeling like I was wading through mud. And anyway, I ended up going off in the sick in the November of that year. And during that time, I was inspired to start creating a journal. I
Right.
wanted to show some pictures. Can I show some pictures?
Oh, yes, I was going to ask you that actually. Yes. Please do.
So I've just started doing these sort of pictures. Like,
Fantastic. Oh,
colours.
wow.
I used
Beautiful.
like greeting card embellishments and magazines.
Yeah.
It just sort of started flowing. I was like, for
It's like
days and days and days, it was just like I was in
coming
the
through.
zone, and I was writing poetry, and these images would come out, and it just flowed for ages.
Mm.
And then one particular day, I did this picture.
Wow.
And when I was drawing this picture, I felt I was always being guided.
Sorry, I can't hear. I can't hear you. What did you say?
Sorry. I felt like I was being guided to draw this picture. I was like painting it. And then when I brought the paintbrush off the picture, I just felt this energy from it. But the funny thing was, it wasn't till about a year later I was prompted to go and see this psychic artist. And whilst I was in the session, as she was starting to draw my guide, I said, does she have blonde hair? And she said, yes. And I knew that this picture
Was for her.
Well, it was
The guide of the lady.
It was my artist guide. But she put it this way, but I'll just show you another one. The actual, the psychic artist, she drew this. Even though she looked slightly different, I think she came in as an angelic one because at the time I was feeling very vulnerable, because I was going through a transition of leaving the other job and all the security and everything. But this is actually her in the incarnation, where she was, I think it was the Tudor times. And
So
she was,
you've drawn that. It's beautiful.
no,
Brilliant.
this was the artist I went
The artist had drawn, yeah.
through this. And I said that she got blonde hair, and she's got blonde hair there. And then she has a necklace, you can't see it on me, but she had a pink
Yes.
necklace. Well, that other one I've just shown you has a more modern version of it. But I just knew that it was the same
person.
Being. They can change their appearance, apparently.
Yeah.
So anyway, she said to me, Janine, you're capable of doing spirit art. You're capable, you can do it. Wow. And then from that day on, I just started doing it.
So it was meant to be, wasn't it? It was meant to be that you met this, you went for this reading yourself, and that's what prompted you to go further.
Excuse me.
I've always been fascinated though when I've seen them at people at my events doing psychic art. It's just wow. And can you do that for animals as well? Do you do any other art things for with animals or anything like that?
I do animal spirit guides.
Yeah.
Spirit animals.
Spirit animals.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't got any to show. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I have. I've done this spirit guide, and he's got.
Oh wow!
He's called Dancing Wolf. This one. So he's like a shaman type.
Yeah.
So, and normally with this is like he would in the reading I think I mentioned about the wisdom of the wolf.
Yeah.
So that brings that in as part of.
So it's great really because they're getting the psychic art and at the same time they're getting a reading, aren't they? At the same time,
you get a lot. So and I also focus on. I ask for date of birth as well because I work out. Everybody has colours that they're working with in this lifetime. So the colours, I can work out the colours through the date of birth. So that I add that into the reading as well.
Really?
It gives quite a lot of information. So you're getting that information about the guide, what the guide wants you to know, and also the colours that you're using in this lifetime. And a lot of the colours tend to come out on the pictures as well, like in the background. But you can see it very well.
Yeah, no, I can see that's like a blue, isn't it? That nice blue.
And so they all have significance, and I also talk about the wisdom of colour as well.
So do you then post that out to the individual once you've done it?
Yes.
Then they can frame it.
I usually give them a copy on Etsy.
Yeah.
Just for the time being while they're waiting for their actual original. And then I'll send it in the post as well.
And do you know what I'm thinking is something like this is a great gift, isn't it, for somebody as well?
Very unusual. Very unique.
Because we all go and my mum says, "Oh, don't get me another same thing again or pair of pajamas," but something like that she'd love because it's completely different.
It is.
And unique to that person.
Exactly.
And especially if you're spiritual and into this sort of thing, what better gift to give somebody, I think.
It is. I do say it makes a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
Like you said, it is very personally unique. You're not going to get that in the shops.
No,
just going down the high street, you're not going to get it.
No, and the amazing thing is now, I know you say you live in Chorley, but even if you live in America, there's no reason why this can't be done.
Well, it's funny you say about America because most of my customers come from America.
Ah, wow! Oh, because of that, is that because of the Etsy shop? Then do you find
I don't know? It's just I think they're really into this sort of thing.
They are big time.
Love anything like this.
Big time, absolutely.
Yeah.
They
so,
do.
Yeah, that has been my most popular custom through the US.
So what have you found the benefits of giving your artwork to people have been?
They've got the ability to connect with that which they cannot see.
Yeah.
It helps them to feel empowered because they know they're getting clarity on things, you know, through the readings.
Yeah.
Learn about the colours that they can use to utilize throughout their life, because that's very powerful in itself. Yeah, it's just having that support as well. No, you've got the support at all times, because they're always around us all the time.
Absolutely.
Even if you're on your own, you know, physically, but they're always here. They're always around. You just need to ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you've got a picture of one of your guides, one of your spirit team, you can just connect, you know, through looking at it, through meditation. I mean, the way they communicate isn't necessarily always going to be verbal communication. It can come in many ways. It can come through, like you say, for example, listening to a song on the radio, and it just really the words resonate. That can be a message. It could be seeing feathers on the floor, a book falls out of the shelf. You know, these sort of things. Or a lot of the time for me, I go out walking and I get encounters with animals, you know, like birds or something, and I just know it's from spirit.
Yeah.
So this sort of thing, this is how they work. It's not necessarily, they're going to give you a message like we are talking now. It can come in many, many ways.
And we can have different.
Open to that.
We can have different guides, can't we?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You've got your main spirit guide, and your main spirit guide is they have what's called your life plan, because before you come into this lifetime, we all plan it.
Yeah.
In quite great detail. It can take about 30 years, like Earth years, to work out your life plan.
Really?
Because it's not just focusing on this lifetime, you're focusing on, it affects the future lifetime as well, depending on what you're doing and how things span out. So it's all planned out. It takes a lot of time, you know.
Yeah.
Although there's no time in the spirit world. But if you were, you know, in earthly time, that's how it would span out.
Yeah.
So the spirit guide knows everything what's going to more or less happen. I mean, it's obviously we've still got that, you know, depending how our choices and decisions, how we interact with others and how that all affects, because that can still change things. But we have the basics there.
Yeah,
what we're going to experience and what we're learning and that sort of thing.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's absolutely fascinating.
So much in it.
I mean, I'd be very, because obviously I've been doing spiritual development myself for a couple of years, and I did some spiritual development online a few weeks ago, but interestingly, a different guide came through, and the name was different. And when I looked it up, it was a place in Japan where the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who invented Reiki was from. He went up the mountain. And I'm like, wow. And I'd be interested if I did have a spirit drawing done, would that come through? It's, you know, be intriguing to know.
Maybe. I mean, there's no guarantee with that. You know, it's up to spirit who comes through.
Yeah.
I mean, say if it's like a spirit guide, then that's what I'll ask for, and then I'll see who comes through.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
No, of course it isn't. I mean, what do you charge, just so that the people that are watching this, what do you charge for something like that doing, you know, so on an online?
It's at the moment it's £65 for a colour portrait and reading.
Yeah.
And then it's £55 for a black and white portrait with reading.
Yeah.
Then it's £50 for just a portrait only, a colour portrait, and then £45 for a black and white portrait only.
Lovely. So just to reiterate, people can do it like this online, or they can also send you a picture through Etsy or through the, can they send them through the post if they were not technical, or?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, just because obviously if you're a lot older, I know my mother, for example, isn't into all this, but they could do it that way, couldn't they?
Yes.
As much as possible,
course, yes.
You know. Obviously, we're going to be drawing to a close shortly. Is there anything else you want to say about your business and that we haven't already covered?
I'm in sort of a transitional period because I want to expand on what I'm doing, in the sense that I'd like to do like mentoring and mentoring people into tapping into their creative potential. So like just doing that, so art journaling and looking at different sort of techniques in order to learn to be receptive, so that you're able to start connecting with the wisdom within, the wisdom from your higher self, the wisdom from spirit.
Sure.
So I'm hoping to set up a Facebook group soon, that can allow people to, join in some creative activities.
Do you have
maybe workshops and that sort of thing?
Do you have a name for it yet, or?
There's one that seems to be standing out. I know it's called Awe, which is artistic wild expression.
Like that. Well, when you do have that, will you please put it in the Keeping Connected page? Yes. And then anybody who's in that, who'd be interested, I'm sure they'd love to join in that and be part of it. Yeah. I mean, we're all creative in lots of different ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm certainly, in fact, I'm my little masterpiece is over there. I'm not very artistic, but I went to like a drawing, one day, and the therapeutic aspect of art was just amazing. And I went to one not so long ago at Cochrane, and I did like the gravestones, and just it was just so relaxing. But interestingly, my son, who I'm sure is very psychic as well anyway, art-wise is amazing, and I really would love for him to tap into that. He's 16, but and I think sometimes at school they don't always draw in, bring out the best of what, because everybody's creative in some way or form, aren't they? It might not be drawing, but it's in other things, and it's using their hidden talent sometimes,
Well, I mean, I would say that art isn't necessarily all because you want to become an artist.
No.
It's more just opening yourself up to what wants to be expressed.
It could be
art is a wonderful way of being able to do that.
It could be, like you said, by art, but also through poetry or through writing, or, interestingly, my mum, she used to go to Morecambe Spiritualist Church, and one particular day she just got all these poems. I mean, my mum can't even write very well, and these poems were just flowing through her.
That's it.
She had a book full at one time. It was amazing, and the poems were just like, wow.
It's amazing what can happen when you start to
tap into that.
The art is like using the right hemisphere of your brain, very much like meditation and prayer and healing, all works from the right side, and creativity, art is the same.
It is.
So you're tapping into that flow of creative inspiration,
that subconscious,
and guidance and wisdom and insights.
Yeah,
will come through the art, and imagery speaks louder than words.
It does.
And colour, I mean, like I've mentioned, colour is so powerful. Colour has got so much healing and wisdom, and that's one of the things I'd like to talk about as well in a talk.
Yes, I'd love you to come on do a talk for Roots of Life in our September sessions. So we'll be back in touch with you about that. Just before we finish, how do people get in touch with you? So, do you have a website? I know you mentioned an Etsy shop. Do you have a phone number or anything like that, please?
Okay. So there's my website, which is www.janinerosekeall.com, and it's all lowercase.
Can you just spell the Keall, because some people might not know how?
Yes, it's Keall.
And that's Janine, Janine
Rose Keall.
.com.
Yeah.
And
also my Etsy shop, which is TriStarArt, and that's all one word, and it's capital T, lowercase R-I, capital S, lowercase T-A-R, and then capital A, and then it's lowercase R-T. So it's all one word, TriStarArt.
Fantastic.
That's through Etsy.
Lovely. So they can go on your Etsy and they can see all the different pictures that you've done as well, can they, on them?
There's pictures for each listing. I haven't got a gallery on the Etsy shop. You need to go through the website to look at some pictures. Or you can go on my Facebook page, which is Janine.r.Keall9. That's my Facebook business page.
Okay, so I'll put a list when we upload the YouTube. Then I'll send the listings as well. I'll put the different ways that they can get in touch with you. So a really big thank you for that this morning, Janine. Thank you for being on, and I've learned more. I'm loving doing them. And we look forward to hopefully getting you to do one of our talks in September.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
All right. Okay, so you take care. Thanks ever so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.